Hi everyone, welcome to part 3 of our look at how to play Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. In the last two videos we looked at how to play the intro, the first two verses and the first two choruses. And in this lesson we should be looking at how to play the third verse, which is a shorter verse than the others, which makes it a bit easier, and also how to play the first of the two lead guitar solos. So what we should do now is we should go in for a close-up and have a look at the third verse. Okay, so this verse begins with a couple of double stops. The first one is this, which is the 6th fret of the B string and the 7th fret of the D, and that's just outlining the minor third of the D minor that's playing underneath on the rhythm section. We then have part of the C chord, which is the 5th fret of the G string and the 5th fret of the B string together. So that's. Okay, we then have this figure. Okay, so that is a bend on the 12th fret up a full tone. You leave that bent, you then strike 12 of the top E, restrike the bent note, release, and then pull off to 10 on the B. You then slide from 12 to 14 on the G string, then hit 13 on the top E. We then pull off 12 to 9 on the top E string. We then have 10 on the B, 9 on the G, then 12, 11 on the D string, and 10 on the B. We then have a little country style bend, okay, which is 12 on the G and 13 on the B. You bend just the G string, you leave the B string where it is, bend up a whole tone, release, and then rebend it. Okay, the next figure begins on the 7th fret of the G. You're going to slide that up to 9, then you play 8 on the B. You then slide those down 2 frets to 6 on the G, 6 on the B, sorry, and 7 on the G. And then you strike them 3 times. Okay, and the next phrase is one you're already familiar with. Okay, we then go back to the chorus. Okay, so that's it for the third verse. As I said before, it's a very short verse and not a lot going on there. What we'll do now is go back in for a close-up and have a look at how to play the first of the two lead guitar solos. Okay, so the first part of the first lead solo goes like this. Okay, so that is bending the 12th fret of the G string up a whole tone, then bend it 3 more times, and then release it on that final time. So you then hammer onto 12 and then pull off immediately to 10 again on the G. Then you do the same with 9 to 10 on the G. Okay, so that goes. Okay, the next part sounds like this. Okay, so that is an A minor arpeggio, but the first 2 notes, which are the 12th fret of the low E string and the 12th fret of the A string, are actually done as natural harmonics. So if you don't know how to do those, you just rest your finger on the string above the fret wire and just lightly touch it while you play the string, and then immediately release your finger to create that natural harmonic. So we do that on the E string, then on the A string. We then have 10 on the D string, 9 on the G string, 10 on the B, 9 on the top E, and then we bend the 12th fret up about a tone and a quarter, so just over a tone, and then release it. Okay, the next part sounds like this. Okay, so that's some quarter note triplets on the 10th fret of the top E, the B, and the G. And then you have the 12th fret of the D. You then have 10 on the B, 13 on the B, then hammer and pull off 11 to 13 on the B string. We then have 9 on the B, then 10 on the B, then 11, then hammer on 9 to 10, and then restrike the 10. So that's all on the B string. Okay, so the next part sounds like this. Okay, so that is bending the 12th fret of the G up a whole tone. Then play 13 on the B. Rebend the 12th fret of the G. Hold the bend there, then play 13 on the top E and the B. Restrike the bent G string. Release it, and then play 10, and then 10 again on the G. Okay, the next part goes like this. Okay, so that's a quick slide up to 13 on the top E, then 12 on the top E, 13 on the B, 12 on the G, 10 on the B, 12 on the G, then 13 on the B. Okay, we then have this. Okay, so that is bending the 13th fret of the B string up a whole tone, restrike it and release, then 11, 13 on the B, then bend the 13th up 2 more times. So far that gives you. We then have 10 on the B, then we pull off 13 to 10 on the top E, then 10 on the B, 10 on the top E, 13 on the B and bend that up a whole tone, then 10 on the B 2 times, and then 12, 10 on the G, and slide that away. Okay, the next part goes like this. Okay, so that is 3 on the D, the G, and the B, and then 6, 3 on the B. Then we have a rake across the 5th fret of the D, the G, and the B. We then play 6 on the B, slide that up to 8, and then play 6 again. We then go 5, hammer on 6, and then slide that up to 8, all on the B. We then go back to the 3rd fret and do exactly the same as we did before. And then we slide the 3rd fret of the G and the B up to 5. And then we have 5 on the D, 5 on the G, 7 on the G, 5 on the G, then we bend 7 on the G up a whole tone, leave it bent, play 8 on the B, restrike the bent G, release it, then play 5 on the G, then we have 7 on the G and bend it up, and then 7 again. Okay, we then play through the chorus again. Okay, so I'll play you through the whole of the first lead solo so you can see how it all fits together.